lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
You there? 10-4. Okay.
You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be
That usually works. Okay, so that. Oh shit. That sucks. I will be here in just a second. Let me fix this. Copy broadcaster. If you get it figured out, exactly. Oh yeah, I get it. Okay. So that. Street race. Hey Dave.
Chris, everybody makes it right.
Oh, okay. Alright. Alright, sure.
That's always fun. Okay. Okay. I am going to go to YouTube. I will start the stream. Right. You got to. I all I got to do is hijack it.
You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When you ship
All right, 10-4.
all your dreams are lost. Everything is wrong. You feel like
Okay,
it's
1
your
second.
fault.
Create. Go live.
For you, baby, remember. There's
Uh
nothing out there to get you. Don't forget
huh.
it. When life throws lemons, just
You're good, buddy. Not now. Son of a biscuit eater. Okay. Yeah. Stream.
you're stronger now than you ever been.
Stream key.
You gotta leave now. It's time to
Paste.
catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you. Don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just
Yes. 1 second. Yep. Okay, I got the string key. I'm gonna click apply.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast Booth. You'll have to forgive us as we're having extreme audio problems on the production side of things. I'm Dave Regal, and with you here in the engineer's seat is Alan Bergen Jr. We will be with you shortly, as right now the Stacy Strong Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series is trying to get underway, as we are in the middle of the warm-up session here, about 1:30 already in tonight. It's going to be a busy night. Let's look at the qualifying results, as I'm literally doing this completely deaf right now. Neil Pearson going to be starting on the front row with Bennett Allen, Nolan Hodgson, Paul Hill, and Tane Hodgson, all going to be here in your top 5. You'll have to forgive us for kind of being a little bit behind, but we're working on it behind the scenes. I'm Dave Regal, and we'll be right back here on Sim Racing Media.
Yep. I grabbed the Xfinity one. Okay. Okay. Oh. Fine. Okay. All right. I have stream key in.
Yeah. No, it's still coming through on the broadcast.
Luckily, I'm going to be his partner tonight.
Yeah. Did you go through the advanced settings in OBS? Yeah. Okay, so when you went to advanced, is it because sometimes it'll just gray out and you'll have to reconnect it? Okay, go through the advanced in the audio mixer, the gears, and click them to like monitor off or whatever, and then click them back to where you want them, and it should come up. All right, you good? Yep. All right, later.
Yep, I'm your partner tonight, bud. Let me get out of this stream. I never started this stream, so you're still good. Okay. You're good. You're good. Just take it easy. No, I'm the only one that gets to have meltdowns here. You gotta become cool and collective. We're gonna Spirit Airlines this motherfucker. One, two.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, literally just in time for the beginning of this race tonight here at Chicago, we're gonna go street course racing tonight. It's gonna be 75 laps of thunder tonight. Dave Regal with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. It has been an incredible week here in the Windy City, and even for my good friend Mr. Alan Bergen, who's sitting in tonight, this has to taste a little like caca right there in the old mouth.
Hey, look! It's street racing. It's Chicago. And you know what? We're the second city states right now.
Well, as we get ready to rock and roll, I'm still trying to work out some technical problems on my end of things here. That's not going to be an issue for you folks at home, though, as we pull up our tower here. And let's take a look at the starting lineup here at Chicago. Of course, this is the Chicago Street Course. This is the Windy City 110. Neil Pearson, he's going to be starting on the front row here alongside of Bennett Allen. And there it is. Paul Hill and Nolan Hodgson going to occupy row number 2, while row 3 going to feature Matt Long and Tane Hodison. Seba Cornez and Tanner Marty going to be in row 4, while Larry Miles and Noah Hamilton in row number 5. Eric Papineau and Sean Rogers going to sit here in row 6 with Kavaja Holt and Cody McCorkle in row number 7. Diego Rodriguez and Rafael Rodriguez each going to sit here in row number 8, as Mark Johnson and Stoney Benfield sit in row 9. Row 10 going to be Ron Fitting and the chief cook and bottle washer here, Chris Claude, in the number 10 Monster Energy Toyota Camry. He's going to be here starting in 20th position alongside Chad Sanner and Chris Davis in row number 11. Rich Jett and John Wilco going to be in row 12, while row 13 is Keith Long and Michael Witt. Timothy Cook and Richard Pruitt going to be starting last on the field here in row number 14. as there are 28 cars ready to take the green flag. Alan, this is going to be an exciting night for racing.
Yeah, I've actually had a chance to run this racetrack, Dave. And right for me, the first corner right here, going down to the backside of the back stretch. I don't know what we're getting ready to come on, and also that 10G corner. That's going to be the problem spots for me. That I feel like you're going to come out there, probably second gear, and go all the way up to at least fourth gear, and then right when you get ready to get on Michigan Avenue, you're going to have to come back down to second gear. And I usually ride second gear all the way through the 10G corner. So get ready, Dave, because we're gonna have calamity corners everywhere.
Well, and this place holds a special position in yours and my heart here for sure. As of course, this is where Daniel Paulus Jr. learned where the men are men and the goats are scared. As we get ready to rock and roll here, just about 3/4 of the way. What a beautiful racetrack this is, too, as we look high above here in the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois. You know, they literally are able to put this thing right in the middle of Grant Park, and just an incredible way to look at this racetrack. And, you know, if you really think about it, NASCAR has officially taken over the Windy City.
I love the fact that we get to street course racing. And look, we're gonna have fun.
It's always fun when the two of us are sitting here in the broadcast booth. We're missing Matt Metler tonight, but of course, folks, he'll be back once again another time as Neil Pearson follows the iRacing.com pace car getting ready to bring us on down pit road. The only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab a Chicago-style hot dog and settle in. This is my kind of town, race fans. It's showtime!
Here we go. Turn one. You gotta be patient. Second gear. Oop. We got a car. Almost
That's the 6. That's Paul Hill getting loose. This is not his kind of town as we get toddling through turns 1 and 2 tonight. As right now we make a trick. Now that's down toward Union Station, of course, the home of Chicago's rail service here in the Windy City. Lots of useless information coming your way tonight as Larry Miles here in the 57 has his Big Turk Toyota Camry cranked up to crazy. Neil Pearson, though, already gapping Bennett Allen now by more than 3/4 of a second, nearly 8/10 as we work lap number 1 tonight. 75 laps, the total scheduled distance as we get underway. 6 total sets of tires for this event. Stage 1 going to conclude at the end of lap number 20, and Stage 2 going to end at the conclusion of lap number 45. As it's a little bit of a cloudy day here, we'll take a look at the racetrack conditions. 79 degrees on the asphalt, so plenty of grip here for these drivers as they get rocking and rolling.
We got Neil Pearson. Neil Pearson used to run these road courses. He's one driver I would suspect would be a front runner here tonight in the Stacy Cup Series. As it looks like he's got Bennett Allen, who wants definitely be in it. They come down the front straightaway. Neil Pearson being nice, easy on the throttle. These cars definitely step out on you, especially when you hit some of these. You don't want to get throttle too hard.
Going on board here with Tane Hodison in the 93, he's sitting just behind the 6 of Paul Hill. You can see the way that he's cranked up right now as we haul it down here onto that back chute, and there is no chance for side drafting here tonight as Tane Hodison's going to have to muscle his way up here to the rear bumper of Paul Hill. That's a tip of the cap to the old Daniel Paulus there from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. As right now, battle's kind of quiet around the racetrack, all things considered, as we look from above. Cody McCorkle here in the 78. He's got, side by side. Look at this right here for Diego Rodriguez. He's decided to pull out the old the old White Sox logo here. As, of course, we are right in the middle. Oh, wow. You got to look at that. We're going to take a closer look as we can to the side there. If you look, it looks like lollipops, but it's not. That is paying homage to old Comiskey Park's exploding scoreboard. Of course, for here there. Nope, can't see it there. I'm going to catch it, don't you worry. But Comiskey Park, when the White Sox celebrated a home run, there it is, right there on that right rear quarter. The scoreboard would explode, and of course, Hawk Harrelson would tell you that you can put it on the board. Yes, as we are here in the town that is absolutely baseball crazy from April through October, and usually about then things cool off for the two teams in this town.
Yeah. Hey, look. You know, I talking to Matt earlier in the week, and he's fan. I said, "Well, get ready for the media." That's kidding. I said, "We'll take another 8 years to win another title."
Look, as long as I can say that I saw it once in my life, I'm a happy camper. Neil Pearson leading the way, but he's suddenly under assault here from Bennett Allen as Bennett has the 15 cranked up behind him. You can see the rear end of Pearson just bouncing around. I mean, listen, this is a very violent racetrack. It's not like they've done a whole lot to change things, maybe fill in a couple of potholes here and there. But overall, we're just running the streets of Chicago, of course, ignoring the traffic lights above us as we come back onto the front stretch and passing the entrance to pit road. The interesting thing about road courses, of course, is that, first of all, we're moving in a clockwise fashion overall, which puts pit road on the right-hand side. For pit crews, of course, in the real race, that kind of poses a big problem as they try to work around the different obstacles here at Chicago.
Yeah, like you said, you got them bumps, which will really help these race cars. But then again, you only run this race once. So last year was the inaugural race. And look, I love the street course. I think that once we figure this out, we can go into other markets. I mean, the 5 years might see NASCAR going to New York and racing down Times Square.
Neil Pearson and Bennett Allen hauling it here back toward the front stretch as we come through the Xfinity 10G Network Cathedral. As we look here, Kavaja Holt getting ready to work side by side with Eric Papineau as Papineau in the Meineke machine now gets himself loaded up behind Kavaja. And of course, Kavaja's been in this league for a very long time, at least 3.5 years. And Kavaja now sliding on by. He's moved up 3 positions so far. Our big mover of the race right now is Michael Witt from Bristol, Tennessee. Usually our short track master now gets himself in gear here at the Chicago Street Course. And, these drivers, there's a lot of energy that loads up in these cars while you're trying to get over the humps, under the bumps, and everything else that you've got to do here. So these drivers are reacting, with literally less than an eye blink's notice. In fact, let's go here to the gyro cam. Nope, we'll see if we can go right to the cockpit cam and watch his hands. This is Michael Witt. And you can see just the way that he has to muscle this car through each of these turns as we go over the bridge here in Grant Park and make this final turn back toward the start-finish line. And I mean, the car is hopping. There's almost no chance to get all 4 wheels equally on the asphalt, whether it's independent suspension here on the next-gen cars or not. But, I can only imagine what the Xfinity cars are going to look like tomorrow night with that solid axle. Five laps in the books tonight. Dave Regal and Alan Bergen with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast. Welcome everybody in tonight, of course, and let you know that we're here and we're, of course, happy to have you with us. We do apologize for the audio problems. And, we know that you guys could hear everything on the home side. We couldn't hear anything on our side. I couldn't even hear Alan talk, which, to be fair, sometimes I don't want to hear Alan talk. Let us know in the comments if you do, too. Can't even hear Alan now. Perhaps he stepped away, maybe to crack open another Anheuser-Busch piece of urine. Of course, that will be our entertainment next week here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. As Alan, he held up his end of the deal. He had himself a Yingling flight last week on the air. Next week, I will have myself something from the Anheuser-Busch stable. So at least what Alan got to drink was good. I know what I'm about to do is just basically put my tongue in an electrical outlet as we watch Tane Hodison here swing the back end around and into that outside retaining wall as we hit the longer straightaway. Of course, in Grand Prix fashion, this is where you would hit that, you would be able to hit that wing button. Push to pass, there we go. Wing button, push to pass, whatever you want to call it. Quite frankly, Tane Hodison, fantastic paint scheme, even though I don't even like the White Sox.
I could use the Cardinal.
We got a car and nose to the tire barrier.
There we go. Oh! Yeah, he missed the corner. He's trying to drive the tire barrier.
It almost looks like he had some kind of a hardware failure here. The car just didn't turn. Gears down again. Yeah, he had to have had a hardware failure. That's not natural.
No.
As we get back underway here on the live side, Neil Pearson leading Bennett Allen by about 0.4 of a second. Bennett has really cut that lead down.
Yeah, we got that's Neil Pearson. Here comes Paul Hill in the layer car. As they come around the corner down through the little short chute with the columns. And I take that right there first gear. The corner. Back down straight away. And you can already see them brake glowing. Can already see the brake rotor starting to glow. As here comes Neil Pearson. Went a little wonky. I have no idea. It stopped.
Folks, you're going to have to hang on a second. Apparently, we've had an even bigger problem.
I'm going to take it over. I got the stream key.
Don't take it.
Green Garden Weed Preventer and Green Garden Weed Preventer plus plant food block weeds before they start and are safe for use around over 400 flowers, vegetables, trees, and shrubs. Best of all, they give you 3 months of freedom from weeding in just 4 easy steps. You can apply Preen anytime before or during the growing season. But since it's a weed preventer, not a weed killer, early spring is best. Here's how. Start by removing existing weeds and their roots in the area where you want to apply Preen. Sprinkle granules directly onto dry soil, mulch, or stone so that they're evenly spaced. Within 24 hours of applying, integrate the granules into the top layer of soil or mulch or stone-covered bed.
Finally, water with a hose or sprinkler, or a well-timed soaking rain to activate the protective weed barrier. When activated, Preen creates an invisible weed-fighting barrier just below the soil surface that targets and prevents weed seeds from sprouting and forming roots. People and pets may enter the treated area once dusts have settled and the area is thoroughly dry from watering or first rain. That's it. Now you'll have a beautiful weed-free space and 3 months to do anything but weeding. Satisfaction guaranteed. Trusted for over 50 years, Preen is America's #1 weed preventer brand with weed preventers for every type of garden.
Well, folks, just in case we haven't had enough problems tonight, a locked up computer, or at least a locked up feed from iRacing.com servers doesn't do us any good. This has just been a comedy of errors, if you will. Dave Regal and Alan Bergen with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, as we are here at lap number 10, just about halfway through now on stage 1, live from Chicago Street Course. And as I had mentioned before, and I'm starting to see a lot of these drivers blinking out, there may be an iRacing server issue that we may be dealing with.
Well, it looks like the live feed is back going. As you know, iRacing's had an issue all weekend long, starting on the 3rd of July. Number 11. Once again, Rafael Rodriguez. And that number 60 car there, coming all the way down to the front straightaway. There we go, making that right-hander off to the first turn. We go down turn number 1. Nice and smooth. Now you gotta come over this bridge. If you come over the bridge trying to shift gears, you're gonna definitely upset the car. And they start their way down towards Union Station. Coming down almost to the 10G turn complex. Rodriguez is going to make a run on the 94 car to the inside. Oh, he clears them.
Finally getting things all squared away here. Paul Hill leads this race now as he has managed to get around, my God, Neil Pearson and Bennett Allen, as Neil Pearson must have had some kind of a problem while we were kind of out without any help whatsoever. Matt Long right now running in P4 out of Atlanta, Georgia, making his return after a couple of weeks off, as he has now come back loose as a goose as Pearson coming here just about halfway through this lap here on 12. Paul Hill, though, he's laid down his fastest lap of the race at 1 minute 27.48 seconds as we're here on lap number 12 of 75. I want to thank everybody once again for bearing with us, as it just seems like maybe the world just wants to fight us tonight here. Amanda Price in the YouTube.com live chat cheering on Sean Rogers. And wow, here comes Kavaja Holt. What's going on with him?
Wrong gear.
Oh my. Let's go on back here and see if we can pinpoint when he blew this bad boy up. As we're going to go on board with him. He may have already had some type of mechanical problem, as he was slow to go, and just as he comes around a pit road, that's where we saw that smoke puff out. But Paul Hill, our race leader, sorry for that, folks. I feel like we keep apologizing tonight. It has just been an awful evening here on the air. Hopefully we get everything squared away for tomorrow night when the Xfinity Series descends here on the Windy City. Of course, it'll be an hour later because it is during the week. And, you know, a lot of these guys, in fact, most of us all have day jobs that keep us away from sitting around. But tomorrow we'll be doing 50 laps here in the Xfinity Series live at 8:15 p.m., well, 8:10 p.m. here at the Chicago Street Course. So, and then, of course, the Truck Series off this week as, you know, the Truck Series, for whatever reason, doesn't want to do street courses. I guess there's not a whole lot of call for pickup trucks in the city, is there, Alan?
No, not really. Not unless you're delivering packages or, well, you know, trucks belong in dirt.
That they certainly do. And it looks like Paul Hill working his way around Nolan Hodgson, as Hodgson looks like he's driving one of your kind of cars with the old open. Whoa! There's Ron Fitting. Let's take a look here at this replay. As we're gonna take a look here, Ron Fitting with the 71 making it by, locks the tires. Oh! They both locked them up. Ron Fitting and Keith Long together have issues getting through this turn.
And, you know, Keith Long was on the brakes. I mean, he had that thing, and he was on the binders. He could not get that thing rolled up in time. But, you know, if you go back to say modifieds, Oswego has dirt now.
And Oswego is here on iRacing. Of course, folks, we want to encourage everybody to keep tuned in here to Sim Racing Media, as we'll be putting together a memorial race for Tony Trapasso, whose favorite racetrack, of course, was Oswego, up near his hometown in New York. So make sure that you stay tuned and wait for those announcements to be coming through, as we'll be doing that in the next several weeks here.
Cameron Watery looks like he's getting through here pretty good. I think he comes through the Xfinity 10G turn, right there by Buckingham Palace, where the famed Married with Children opening was shot.
Now, here's a piece of cinematic trivia that I don't know how many other people recognize this. In the opening scene of Married with Children, where else was that exact scene used? You know, where they're looking at there's a car coming off of a highway.
Ooh,
do you know the answer?
Where? I don't.
There's a station wagon getting off the highway at the same time that, well, it's getting on the, I lie, it's getting on the highway, coming, you know, from the on-ramp onto the actual highway itself.
Would it be the Griswolds?
What's that?
Would it be the Griswolds?
It would be. It's the Queen Family Truckster.
Let's go to Wally World. You know, speaking of the Griswolds, do you know my favorite scene in that movie, Dave?
Is when they're in St. Louis?
We're in East St. Louis asking for directions. And the whole time the guy's sitting there talking to him. They got 4 guys. It's almost like a pit stop. They're just jacking the wheels off.
I don't think anybody wants to jack wheels off.
No, they're taking the rims off the car.
There you go. That sounds a lot better.
That was in East St. Louis, Illinois. It wasn't East St. Louis. It was East St. Louis.
Certainly not your neighborhood, that's for sure. Matt Long here leading Tane Hoddeson by like 7 seconds, 7.4 seconds, as Hoddeson hauls it down here, just coming off of the front stretch. Each of these drivers is trying a little bit of a different line here. There's no defined line. even with these 5 laps left in stage 1. I mean, and right now we're burning through that at 1.5 minutes per lap. So they're doing very well tonight. But Bobby Anderson, right now, the last car on the lead lap, and we can see that he's about to be served lunch by Paul Hill, as Paul Hill has strapped a hairnet on and decided to start serving lunch to the entire field to the tune of 11 cars left on the lead lap.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's some guys that think road racing like a duck on water, and this is a whole different discipline than oval racing. It takes a special kind of skill set. It takes timing, knowing what gear you need to be in by the corner you need that gear. And then you got to figure out your braking points. Where do you brake? Where do you not brake? You know, as we're watching Bobby Anderson come out of that first turn, and that's a left-hander. You're going left and right. So, you know, you're going to lose at one end of the track, you're going to gain at the other end of the track. We're on board with Bobby Anderson coming down here, I think, towards Union Station. Getting ready to hit this little shot right-hander right here. Oh, that's very bumpy right there. And then your second gear through here, then you're going to come up through the gears, and then you might get to fourth by the time you get past this little wall. Now you got to start braking. Once you get there, the fourth sign, 4, 3, 2, 1, second gear. Now I personally, when I run this race course, I run second gear up and over this bridge, and then I'll run second right here through the 10G corner, up right on the wall. A little bit of breakage. Gonna be very bumpy. You'll upset the car. Then you might get down to up to third. Then you're right back to second gear. And then right here you hit first gear. And then you're gonna come back up second. And then you'll be second coming around this last right-hander to come to the start-finish line.
Yeah, it's a rough transition here. I mean, it's something that we don't even see, you know, at Sonoma or Watkins Glen, because the elevation changes here are a lot more drastic. At Watkins Glen, you know, you're kind of going through wine country and it's just cruising along and, you know, nice sweeping turns. At Sonoma, you're going from very high elevation to very low elevation and very tight turns. Here, you're on the street. You know, if they had to make room for a train line underneath the ground, that's what they were doing. If they had to move out of the way for a thoroughfare in the days of canals, that's what they did. That's where they laid the asphalt. You know, so all things considered, these streets are not forgiving to these race cars. They're not designed for racing. They're designed for getting from place to place, not running around in a circle.
Yeah, and kudos to the folks that built this track, and they actually designed this track on iRacing. And you know, they ran the Pro Invitational during COVID, and you know, so that's iRacing played a huge part in getting this street race to Chicago. And you know, I would love to see them go to different markets. You know, let's leave it here in Chicago, but let's maybe move it one year to like Detroit or New York or Los Angeles, or
I think we should move it to Pottsville, Pennsylvania, and call it the Cold Cracker 500. Just right up and down the hills of Pottsville, you know, down past the brewery on Montago Street, up Center Street, you know, around the corner at Market. I mean, it would be fun just to watch the people dive out of the way.
Speaking of diving out of the way, here comes Neil Pearson back onto the racetrack. They're in a number 58 car. They come down to this other. This is almost like a sweeping left-hander right here, or right-hander rather. You gotta be hard on the binders to get set up for this corner. And then you usually got rumble strips on the road courses where you can, you know, hang the left or the right side tires off a little bit. But here you got a wall, so if you mess that corner up, you're gonna hit a wall, or you might take it too soon, you're gonna hit a wall.
Now, Paul Hill doing a fantastic job of leading this race. 10 laps in the books, or I'm sorry, 10 cars on the lead lap with 19 laps in the books, as apparently I can read like a lizard out of both sides of my face. Paul Hill now gapping Matt Long by 8.4 seconds. there's something under the hood here for Paul Hill as we take a look here out of Jacksonville, Florida. Jacksonville's not exactly a hotbed for road racers.
No. But, you could get into like a series that they'll race down like Sebring or, the streets of St. Pete. They could
I was thinking the
Tomorrowland.
I was thinking the Tomorrowland Speedway in Orlando.
That one too. Or what if they street raced in Orlando itself? Or in Miami?
No, there is no racing. There is racing. There is street racing in Miami for Grand Prix. But I don't think there's enough room on some of those streets in Miami to even put a stock car.
The lap 20 is here. I think the 10th car in line trips the caution. If I'm wrong, correct me.
Once 10th place crosses.
There goes
Assuming
Paul Hill.
10th place isn't a lap down.
Neil Pearson trying to get his lap back, or one of his lap back the hard way. As he's going to go by Paul Hill. You wouldn't think you'd lose a lot of time on pit road, but if you go on pit road, there's no fast repairs in the series. So, if you spend time on pit road, you're going to go laps down here. As at the caution flag, the way the running order looks like, Bobby Anderson would definitely get that coveted lucky dog.
That's for sure, as right now, all things considered, we've got to wait on Cody McCorkle, and he is almost a full lap now behind Paul Hill. Of course, you talked about Neil Pearson. Here's the guy that qualified on the pole and now stopped in the pits on lap 14, and now here he runs in 21st position. Paul Hill, Matt Long, Tane Hodison, Tanner Marty, Bennett Allen, Sean Rogers, Larry Miles, Rafael Rodriguez, Eric Popino, and Cody McCorkle going to be your top 10 when that caution flag flies. And I'm curious now, at some of our road races we've had cautions at the stage break, but here not so much, as Cody McCorkle still out here running now. He's got about a half lap left here on 20, and I feel like race control may do better off just calling the caution now.
Yeah, and as we were watching Dane Hodgson, or Paul Hill rather, try to get around the Chief Cook and Bottle Washer, that's Chris Claude in that number 10 car. They come around Buckingham Fountain. And this is one of the more touristy parts of Chicago. Of
course,
Dave, as I've walked, I spent an afternoon a couple years ago. I took my wife up to Chicago as the part of the Prairie Dirt Classic weekend that we had, and let's put it this way: there's the yellow flag, and we walked all the way to Chicago. We did 14 miles, Dave.
Huh? Doesn't show. If I walked 14 miles, I think my legs would sue me for separation and abuse. As we're going to get a chance to talk to Paul Hill here. He's up here in the Grease Monkey Motorsports stable. Hey, Paul, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You get a copy?
I do. What's going on, guys?
Man, listen, you're what's going on. You got around here with relative ease. You were gapping along by like 8.4 seconds. What's the secret here under the hood?
Honestly, just being mindful of the bumps. Don't ask the car to do something that it shouldn't be, and be gentle with her, and you can get around here with relative ease.
Takes the words right out of my mouth. I was watching you come through here, and it looked like maybe you were just working for DoorDash, trying to just drop things off in a familiar neighborhood. You were absolutely boogieing through here. Now, in stage 2, of course, going to be a little bit shorter because of the caution laps themselves. What's going to be the strategy, and will you need to make any adjustments to the 6 car?
Honestly, I think I'm going to leave her be with the weather right now, with the clouds on this track right now. It's staying pretty cool. Everything feels really great. I don't want to kind of mess up with the recipe here. It's pretty good. So probably gonna leave it alone and just top her off with some fuel and hope for the best.
All right, my man. Well, listen, good luck here in stage 2. Try to hold them off. I mean, you left just 10 cars on the lead lap this time around. Maybe you're going to cut that in half again.
We'll see. Not trying to, just trying to run my race and not hit nobody and come out with a clean car with all 4 tires and all 4 bumpers on it, or all 4 corners, I guess I should say.
All right, man. I get it totally. All right, listen, good luck the rest of the way. Maybe we'll see you here at the end of stage 2.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Well, that, of course, the voice of our race leader and Stage 1 winner, Paul Hill, driver the number 6, as he's going to get that Dark Horse Mustang lined up to go down pit road momentarily. We want to try to get a hold of Neil Pearson, as he was our pole sitter. Hey, Neil, it's Dave up in the booth. You got a copy?
Got a copy.
Hey, man, listen, I mean, you qualified on the pole, but here you sit a lap down. What happened there to the 58?
I just overcooked it into turn 3, so yeah, not much I can do when I make a silly error.
Well, I guess every error comes with its cost. Now, what do you think the chances would be of you maybe trying to make up that lap, here in stage 2?
Well, 3 laps to count, so I mean, it's going to be hard. I'm going to do everything I can, so yeah, I mean, I reckon I might get 2 laps back, but yeah, it'll be tight. I don't think I'll be in contention for the win.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, good luck as you come on down pit road, and maybe we'll see you on the other side here one of these times.
Hopefully not in the wall.
Yeah, that'd be nice. All right, brother. Gonna send you back on up here to Dirty South Racing. We appreciate the time. Next driver we're gonna try to get a hold of, since we have such a decent amount of time here. Driver of the number 44, Mr. Sean Rogers, my future drafting partner. Hey, Sean, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
What's going on?
Well, man, listen, you finish here on the lead lap at the end of stage 1. Looks like you came down, got your pit service, everything fine, but what kind of adjustments did you make to the 44?
The adjustments are going to happen between the wheel and the seat. It's tough out here, man. The bumps and, the heavy braking zones, it's just tough. Don't quite have the pace of some of these guys, but, yeah, we're just going to keep on keeping on.
Well, you're one of the drivers that I feel like if I had to put my faith in somebody to get to the end, and keep all 4 wheels on the car, it's going to be you. I mean, I've watched you work, short tracks, road courses, super speedways, and your talent just doesn't know a boundary limit. Yeah,
that just goes to, definitely got to give credit to the guys at BMP for making sure that I have good sets. The car is always quick. And then just, all the work we put in throughout the week. And this has not been my favorite of tracks, but I'm having a little bit of fun. So I'm enjoying it out here today.
Listen, the Beast Mode 44 is looking sharp there in that black, red, white, and blue. So good luck the rest of the way, buddy. And hey, you never know. The podium awaits.
Yeah, I hope so.
Send him back on up here into the CSS stable. And last but certainly not least, if I think we have enough time, as I do see the pace car lights are still on. Let's see if we can get a hold of Bennett Allen here in the number 15. Hey, Bennett, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Howdy.
Well, buddy, listen, you're scored the leader right now. It's been an interesting race so far. I just saw you blink out. Of course, the minute that I put you on camera is when you suddenly start having problems with blinking.
I don't know what that's about. I have ideas, but I haven't had issues all race, so I'm not sure what that was. But so far, race has gone good. I tried to play a little strategy to give me the lead. It worked out for now, so we'll see what I can do with it. I love this racetrack. I love street courses. I wish NASCAR had more of them. And, with the next-gen car, tires don't wear as much as you would think. Actually, I've noticed that there's a little bit more rear tire wear here, which is kind of odd. But I'm having a lot of fun. I like ripping around the street course. So I've only touched the wall a couple times. Knock on wood. Doesn't happen anymore, and we'll see what happens. I hope you all like my paint scheme.
I do like the paint scheme. It's fantastic from here up in the broadcast booth. Of course, Chicago didn't, it kind of gave me fits trying to create the camera pack for tonight, so I wound up going stock. But overall, listen, I think everybody here on the racetrack tonight has some cool paint, and hey, everybody's going to get some camera time at some point.
Yeah, it's a big racetrack, and a lot of things do happen. I know that Neil, I don't know what happened to him. I think he went too hard going into one. So hopefully he can get his laps back. That was unfortunate. Me and him are going to have a good battle. The biggest problem is getting through lap traffic when you catch up to them, because there's really only 2 or 3 passing zones. So you really have to mind your P's and Q's there. But overall, I mean, like I said, I'm having fun, and that's all that really matters at this point.
Yeah, and it's interesting to hear you talk about minding your P's and Q's and the fact that that's part of your development as a race car driver. I mean, I've watched you in this league for a long time, and to hear you say that's scary for everybody else, because if you're taking care of your equipment, that to me at least spells victory for you and trouble for everybody else. So listen, man, good luck the rest of the way, and hey, the podium awaits you.
I sure hope so, Dave.
Well, Alan, we've talked to a couple different drivers who've gotten some different input from different guys, and it just seems like everybody's trying to take care of their equipment the best that they can this early on in the race. But stage 2, I think we cranked the heat just a little bit more.
Yeah, now these guys have been around here for 20 laps. They're starting to figure it out, and now we're going to crank it up to, to 11. I'm wanting to see Neil Pearson come up to the field, get his laps back, and look, I think he can do it. He doesn't think he can do it. I think he can do it.
Listen, if he does it, I'll be shocked. But right now, Bennett Allen sees the iRacing.com pace car dive down pit road. The man in the stand waves the green flag that he's got in his hand, and we're back underway.
Here we go, down that first turn. They're going to take it easy. They're back on cold tires. Nice and clean. Here we go through turn 2.
Everybody playing nice with one another so far, as we've got just 11 cars back in the lead lap as Bobby Anderson has made his way around. Now, the interesting thing is that puts Bobby Anderson at the end of the longest line when we restarted. So, he's also in danger of being the first car a lap down again at the end of this stage, as, wow, Bennett Allen loses a goose coming through this turn as they get ready to go down the long straightaway. And my goodness, look at these cars like a big giant snake coming down Michigan Avenue. What a run we have right now as Paul Hill leads us up and over the bridge through Grant Park.
Yeah, through Grant Park to 10G, Xfinity 10G corner. Getting ready to go here by Buckingham Fountain. This is the loose part of the racetrack.
We're going to take a look here. We're going to take a look here and see what happened with Bennett Allen, because, of course, as soon as we start to give somebody camera time, that's when bad things happen to them. He goes up and over the bridge here, 3, 2, 1, makes his turn, and the rear end of the 15 comes around, and he pirouettes through Grant Park, and that's not going to get it done for him tonight. So Bennett with a strong strategy coming here into stage 2, now running in 9th position behind Paul Hill and Matt Long, who lead this piece by, right now, Paul Hill gapping Matt Long by 0.6 of a second.
Yeah, Bennett definitely didn't want to be in at that time. But as we come around that turn 2, now we're on the fastest part of the race course. And Paul Hill leading this freight train right here. Matt Long, about 2.5, almost a second. That's the eyeball test as we make that swift right-hander. You got to be on the brakes and downshifting. There's a lot of things you got to do to get around this corner. It definitely is complex as we start down towards Grant Park.
Yeah, 26 laps in the books right now as we're working our way toward lap number 40. And, these drivers, they're trying to figure out what they're going to do to try to, take on Paul Hill. Lap 45, so there's 20 to go here in stage 2. I got to be honest, looking at this, I think maybe the more important thing to do is run your own race, because Paul Hill is in a different zip code.
Well, Paul Hill and Matt Long are essentially all by themselves. They've gapped. Both of them have gapped. Sean Rogers by almost 4 seconds. So these guys are going to put the cruise control on and take a nice stroll to, nice drive through the city. And to your point, Dave, this is a city that you normally would not drive in. I learned that when I went up there. You do a whole lot of walking, because unless you know exactly where you're going to go in the city, you don't want to drive, really.
Well, of course, you can't ride the L here in Chicago, at least around Grant Park for the time being, as everything has been shut down. Matt Long biting a little bit of wall as he came out just a little bit wide here. Rich Jet just jumped to the pits. Let's see what happened with Rich as we go on back here. Oh, Rich Jet was not just touching the wall. He was grinding up against it like all of a sudden this is the prom. Stoney Benfield doing the same thing as the faster pastor here. Just a lap ago had himself a bad moment as he comes around. Bobby Anderson in tow. Stoney throws it here toward the McDonald's. Oh, the McDonald's banner, and he has himself a Mick accident. But just gets it slowed down and gets back underway.
Look, $1.50 more, he could have brought the Big Mac to the Lord.
Of course, Chicago, home of McDonald's corporate. It's where Ray Kroc decided to move corporate headquarters once upon a time. He is a native Illinoisan.
CM Punk, the Second City Saint, is from Chicago. So, and Dave, I tell you what, if you're ever get shit to come to Chicago, as much as I razz on Chicago and the Cubs, look, it's what I do. I'm from St. Louis. Take the Chicago River tour if you ever get a chance to come here, and then go out to Lake Michigan. Absolutely fabulous tour.
Look, what I really want to do is I want to go find Adam's Ribs. It's a fictional rib joint from episode like 2 or 3 of the old TV show MASH. But Adam's Ribs. Apparently it's near the Dearborn Street station. But you can check that out. Of course, MASH is available on Hulu for your streaming pleasure. I fully encourage everybody to tune in and take a nap. That's usually what I do when I turn MASH on.
Well, I mean, for me, I just go put pajamas on and go to bed, because usually when bedtime was. So when MASH comes on, when you hear the theme song of MASH, it was time to put the hay.
You know, that's what you say all the time, but, you know, not me. That's usually when I'm watching it intently. But let's go take a run through the field quick. Paul Hill right now, he leads the way by about 2.2 seconds over Matt Long out of Atlanta, Georgia. Matt Long ahead of Sean Rogers by now nearly 6 seconds. Tane Hodison running in fourth with Tanner Marty close behind. This is almost one of the tightest battles. And speaking of which, we see Bennett Allen working his way around Rafael Rodriguez in the 60 in a battle for sixth. Larry Miles running the 57 in 8th position. Bobby Anderson in 9th. And Eric Papineau in 10th. 11th is Cody McCorkle, and he is the last driver on the lead lap. So Paul Hill getting ready to start serving up some lunch here. We're going to step aside and pay some bills on Sim Racing Media. We appreciate everybody's tuning in tonight, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. We want to thank everybody.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible.
basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it. They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Trish on the bottom.
Bouchard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic, real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Preen Garden Weed Preventer and Preen Garden Weed Preventer Plus Plant Food block weeds before they start and are safe for use around over 400 flowers, vegetables, trees, and shrubs. Best of all, they give you 3 months of freedom from weeding in just 4 easy steps. You can apply Preen anytime before or during the growing season. But since it's a weed preventer, not a weed killer, early spring is best. Here's how. Start by removing existing weeds and their roots in the area where you want to apply Preen. Sprinkle granules directly onto dry soil, mulch, or stone so that they're evenly spaced. Within 24 hours of applying, integrate the granules into the top layer of soil or mulch or stone-covered bed. Finally, water with a hose or sprinkler or a well-timed soaking rain to activate the protective weed barrier. When activated, Preen creates an invisible weed-fighting barrier just below the soil surface that targets and prevents weed seeds from sprouting and forming roots. People and pets may enter the treated area once dusts have settled and the area is thoroughly dry from watering or first rain. That's it. Now you'll have a beautiful weed-free space and 3 months to do anything but weeding. Satisfaction guaranteed. Trusted for over 50 years, Preen is America's #1 weed preventer brand with weed preventers for every type of garden.
Welcome back to Chicago, Illinois, where, of course, we're here at the Chicago Street Course working lap number 34. Dave Regal and Alan Bergen with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We want to thank everybody for tuning in, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Paul Hill with the race lead here, 2.3 seconds over Matt Long, who is now separated by him by just that much, and then 13 seconds way back to Kalamazoo, Michigan, Sean Rogers. As Sean Rogers trying to hold off Tane Hodison. Let's go on board here with Hodison here in the White Sox machine. He's got that White Sox exploding scoreboard on the side of this thing, and whoa! A little bite of the wall here as we get on past Stoney, and now coming down the hill and making the hard right. Tane Hodison doing his best to try to keep up with Sean Rogers, but, you know, this is kind of one of those things when we talked about it coming out of the stage break. You almost have to just run your own race and not worry about, you know, the drivers around you. There aren't that many places that'll make it easy to pass here. If you do try to pass at, let's just say, a not so great place to pass, you're going to wind up in the wall as we come off of Columbus and back here onto the front stretch. These drivers have about 10 laps left to go now before the end of stage 2, and right now Paul Hill, kind of the Pied Piper of Chicago.
We'll call Paul Hill the second city saint right now, as he's got Matt Long there behind him, and as we're focused in on Tane Hodison there in that White Sox car. Ugh.
They don't even play in the same league as the Cardinals.
For all the Cubs fans who have an open hatred for the Cardinals and the White Sox, the White Sox fans are like, what do we do to Chicago?
Nothing, literally nothing. Except one time in 1919. What can I say? You throw one World Series and all of a sudden you're, you know, cursed forever.
Well, you know who hates the White Sox? You know who else is the most hated guy in Chicago? The guy who caught the ball as it was going to be caught, and
Steve.
I can't remember his name.
Steve Bartman.
Yes,
Steve Bartman,
boy.
And that was, of course, that was almost the worst. He went into hiding after that. Alou came over to make the catch, and Steve Bartman reaches his hand out. This is, you know, in the NLDS in the NLCS playing against the Miami Marlins, who at the time were the Florida Marlins, and, you know, pop up down the left field line, and basically it was the difference between the final out of the game and sending the Cubs to the World Series, or what wound up happening and essentially gave the Marlins another shot. And, well, the rest is history. It took them like another 20 years before they got back to go to the World Series. But Steve Bartman actually went into hiding after that because people were literally sending him death threats and whatnot.
Well, hey, you know, we have this thing in St. Louis on the local ESPN affiliate called Punch a Red Wings Fan in the Face Day. But so the Blackhawks just signed Pat Maroon, who was was a part of our 2019 Stanley Cup championship team, to a 1-year deal.
I'm still mad at the Blackhawks. Thanks, 2010. That was the time when I used to think that Chelsea Dagger was kind of like a good pregame kind of song, like da 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 da, right? And then because of every goal that the Blackhawks scored against my Philadelphia Flyers in the Stanley Cup final, I wanted to put my head through the TV screen. I remember watching the second to last game down in D.C. at the 51st State. It's a little bar right at M Street, and I forget what the intersection is, but it's right before Georgetown. And then I watched the final game of that series from Victor Emmanuel's Beneficial Society in Reading, alongside the then owner of the Reading Fightin' Phils, AA baseball affiliate of the Philadelphia Phillies. That was.
I only have one regret, Dave, and that is, as we watch Paul Hill go around the fest, or we're going to go around the faster. Tony Benfield in that number 75 car. Jimmy Buffett played a concert here in 2005 at Wrigley Field. And he played Go Cubs Go.
See, and that's another thing, you know, even as a baseball fan, you know, as a non-Cubs fan, as just a Phillies fan, I'm kind of jealous that the Cubs have their own victory song. I mean, you know, now keep in mind, we have high hopes, but they have Go Cubs Go, and it's a fun little jaunty tune, you know, that was written specifically for the team versus we've got high hopes, which, don't get me wrong, made famous by Francis Albert Sinatra, who of course called this his kind of town. He and Frank Jr. did a duet here about the Windy City on the Duets 2 album that only one other person in the world can do it just about as good, often imitated, never equaled, as my old man and I, as this is A Toddlin' Town. And of course, you know, a lot of famous people from Illinois. Of course, General Ulysses S. Grant from right here, hence Grant Park. Of course, he was originally from Galena, Illinois, which I don't know is that far from here. And, of course, from Bunker Hill, Illinois is Rebecca Focht, as she's here in the YouTube.com live chat, keeping an eye on things, another famous Illinoisan. Of course, she's also from Virginia, Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. Pick one. You can't swing a dead cat without finding a state that she's lived in. But that's Bunker Hill, Illinois. Also out of... So here's the fun thing about Galena, Illinois and General Grant. Did you ever read about him growing up there?
No.
Apparently, General Grant was kind of an idiot as a child. His dad gives him 25, or his dad gives him like $25. Says, go down here to the horse guy, offer him 20. If he won't take 20, offer him 25. And the kid goes, hey, listen, Mr. Horse Guy. My dad said that I can offer you 20 for the horse, but if you won't take that, he'll give you 25. Like, talk about handing your old man's money away. General Grant's first decision in life was to give his dad's money away. My dad would have had his foot buried so far up my can.
You want to know a little snippet about Ulysses S. Grant? So he built a farm down here in St. Louis. Actually, the town is Afton, Missouri, or Grantwood Village, right? And members, shortly after they became married, so he married, let's see, it was on land given to him by his wife and father-in-law. Frederick Fayette Dent, shortly after they became married in 1848, it was also served as a residence of various members of the Bush family.
Got all that off of Wikipedia, didn't you?
Actually, I pay attention to the tour.
Now that's a good tour taker.
Yes. There's one thing I like doing, Dave, that's going to these towns and cities and actually taking tours of places like the Anheuser-Busch tour. If there's like a Yuengling brewery, taking a tour of that.
What do you mean if there is a Yuengling brewery? There absolutely is. Has been since 1829. You can go up there, take the tour through the brewery, get 2 free beers at the end, which is really the highlight. Get all your Yuengling swag.
Same thing here in St. Louis at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery.
Apparently the Yuengling tour in Tampa is supposed to be very good. I'd like to do that next year during spring training.
Macoupin County, Illinois is where Bunker Hill, Illinois is located. About 159 to the north. And it would be just about, if you're on the Missouri side of the river, well, just north of I-255 and right across the river from lovely St. Charles, Missouri.
Yep, never been to either one. They can keep it.
Hey, look, I go to Fairbury, Illinois every year for the Prater Classic, and they can keep that drive through Central Illinois. That's boring.
I can only imagine how flat things get. I've never left the the eastern seaboard, with the exception of going to Canton, Ohio. Paul Hill leads the way here, 41 laps in the books. Matt Long running in P2, Sean Rogers in third, but just 11 cars. Cody McCorkle did manage to stay on the lead lap, but Paul Hill just blew the doors right off of him, and we're back to 10 cars on the lead lap. And Paul Hill's got a little bit of time to catch up to him, but at this stage in the game, he's about 15 seconds behind. Technically, Paul Hill is 15 seconds behind Eric Papineau, and I'm sure that in the next 5 laps, he's going to gobble that right up.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong there. We're watching Paul Hill just put a clinic on these guys, and it's almost like Matt Long is matching step for step, almost like these guys have practiced together all weekend. They sort of know each other's moves or each other's play before they do it. Yeah, Paul Hill's just making this look so easy to get around this road course here. Mastering all the bumps, know where to shift, knowing those braking points, and these guys have all been in officials all week, all official races all week. Just running laps, logging laps around this road course, and that's what it takes to master the art of road racing, just logging laps.
I mean, I can believe that. I mean, the more traffic that you have, or the more practice that you have here on the race course itself, once you come into traffic, there's the whole thought. That almost makes it that much easier. For Paul Hill, he's pretty much running all by his lonesome anyway. So, for lack of a better term, he's doing it just fine.
Yeah, definitely clean racetrack as we come through the turn, the Xfinity 10G corner. Back around Buckingham Fountain, and then back up towards Michigan Avenue. But the thing too is he's getting ready to hit another car. I don't know who's coming on. It looks like a FedEx car. Dave, I'm gonna have to get you out to the Predator Classic, the famed World of Outlaw race down here in Fairbury, Illinois.
Did you say the Predator Classic?
No, the Predator Classic.
Oh, I thought you said Predator Classic. I thought that was some kind of weird thing that Chris Hansen hosts.
No, the Predator Classic, the PDC.
For those of you that couldn't understand a thing that he just said, he said Prairie Dirt Classic.
Yes.
Tony Burt, yes, the land of Lincoln. Technically, Abraham Lincoln was born in Kentucky and moved here to Illinois as a young man. Of course, he was in Salem, Illinois, where he was the postmaster and ran a general store. Also kept company with a man named Joshua Speed. They were law partners after he was admitted to the Illinois bar. Abraham Lincoln, born in 1809, and he was about 9 or 10 years old when they made the move to Illinois. Whoa! For the first time, I saw Paul Hill slide a tire.
Now, you don't want to get complacent here as we're 2 laps away from the stage break. You don't want to get complacent where you're at in the racetrack, and you don't want to overdrive the car. So far, it's been flawless, and that was the first mishap I've seen out of the 6th car all night.
Also, to Tony Burt's thought there, Abraham Lincoln is buried in Oak Hill Cemetery, not too far away.
He's also got a library there in Springfield, Illinois. Paul Hill doing it flawlessly coming down through Grant Park. And looks like that's a 22 car he's going to put a lap down.
44 laps here in the books. Just two more to go here in stage 2. Eric Papineau, the last driver on the lead lap, and he can see Paul Hill in the rearview mirror as we look out from the rear of Paul Hill. I'm sorry, of Papineau.
You know, this reminds me of the old movies where they had the car chase through the city streets, though. You know, Chicago or San Francisco or, you know.
Tell you what it reminds me of. The Chicago street race from last year.
Yes.
And there goes Papineau down a lap. I thought maybe Hill was going to let him go, but Hill just went and finished him off.
Well, Matt Long's still got to get around these two cars. They're laps down. Matt Long coming down through Grant Park. Whoa! The 38 car gets into the wall.
That's a tough one. That's Cody McCorkle coming out of there. He's already got all kinds of a mess here on the 78. Paul Hill leads the way, 45 laps in the books. When he comes back around, he'll be crowned the Stage 2 winner here, as we're just going to be about 30 to go in the race altogether, and they have managed to make things go relatively well tonight. I mean, it's only been an hour and 10 minutes since the green flag dropped, and these drivers have not given each other an inch. I mean, you know, quite frankly, if Paul Hill could have, he would have lapped the entire field. Right now, Tane Hodison, whoa! Flying out of the final turn toward the start-finish line, seals the deal as he's now going to retain that 9th spot as Paul Hill comes around the final turn as well, and he's going to cross the start-finish line and capture the checkered flag, or the green and white checkered flag, as Stage 2 is going to be over once Hodison and Papineau come around. Taking a look at Bennett Allen just behind Sean Rogers, and I thought maybe the two of them were going to try to throw a couple of haymakers at one another right here toward the end, but they don't. We look at John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, and Wilco staying just ahead of the 58. That's Neil Pearson, as Pearson still trying to make up the time that he had lost from earlier on in the race. And now we go back up to Sean Rogers, who's just 0.8 of a second ahead of Bennett Allen as they're hauling it down the final stretch here, as now they have crossed the start-finish line. So here at the end of Stage 1, when the caution flag flies, it's going to be Paul Hill, Matt Long, Sean Rogers, Bennett Allen, Tanner Marty, Larry Miles, Bobby Anderson, Rafael Rodriguez, and Tane Hodison, your top 9, as they will all finish on the lead lap. Eric Papineau will be the lucky dog, as, my goodness, I don't know what we're waiting for, but you can't possibly be serious. We're going to wait until Papineau crosses? Maybe. Or are we not throwing a caution flag here at the end of Stage 2? Papineau's a lap down.
And that's
there
the caution.
He is, and that should do it. Ay, it was such a shunda. Should never buy gribbiness from a oil. It's so chewy. Paul Hill going to be your Stage 2 winner. We're going to tune in with him right now. Hey, Paul, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I do. What's going on, guys?
Well, you got the first 2 stages in the books. You've managed to take the number of cars on the lead lap down to 9. I thought you were going to leave Papano alone for a minute, but then you just went ahead, strapped the hairnet on, and served him lunch as that put him down a lap. You have been on fire these first 2 stages. What's the sauce? There's got to be something more than you're telling us.
Man, just avoid the bumps as best you can and be gentle. I can't emphasize enough how bad these bumps are around here, man. It's pretty rough, but you know, just being patient with the car. And I've got a little bit of damage on my right front here, so I'm a little nervous about Matthew Long. He isn't anybody to be trifled with, so I'm a little worried that he might get me and steal this win from me, to be honest, with his nose damage. But we're gonna do our best.
Well, I saw you slide that tire the one time that you did. I just happened to catch it by sheer dumb luck. I mean, you have been all but perfect and have been running a clinic here. So, I mean, look, I'm sure there's still more to come yet here in Stage 3, as we're going to be a little less than 30 to go here. So good luck, brother, and maybe I'm sure we're going to see you here on the podium.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. I'll see you soon.
So we're going to move him back on up. You're in Ferta, correct?
Grease Monkey.
Sorry. Grease Monkey Motorsports. I don't know how. Probably because Ferta was sitting at the very top here. As we're going to get a chance now to talk to Dirty South Racing's very own Matt Long. It's been a couple of weeks since we've got a chance to talk to him. So, hey, Matt, it's Dave up the booth. You got me?
Yeah, y'all got me?
I got you, man. Listen, you've been out here harassing Paul Hill. I mean, you know, there was a pretty good gap between you two at one point, but you started to close that gap. What's going to be the deal here in Stage 3? Is it time for full send, or is this going to be some kind of a calculated mad scientist move?
You know, I'm trying. I just bought the track like half hour before the race, so we're learning every lap out here. Honestly, Paul's got a little bit on me, so I'm just going to try to keep the pressure on, and hopefully he'll make a mistake. You know, we'll have to deal with some lap traffic here in this stage, so anything could happen, but we'll see.
Did you say you just bought the track an hour and a half before the race?
Yeah, if that.
And you're running P2?
This place is fun, man. It suits me. I don't know. You should have seen me in warm-ups, man. I destroyed about 7 cars trying to figure this place out.
Well, I would say that you're pretty close to figuring it out. I mean, Paul Hill said that you're not somebody to be trifled with, but like that is pure racing talent here, folks, from Matt Long out of Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, holy Christmas, an hour and a half. He had 90 minutes to figure this place out before the green flag dropped. Wow, man. All right, well, listen, Matt Long is going to pull down pit road. He's going to get some pit service here on the 97. We're going to let you go. Good luck the rest of the way, and I'm sure that there's a spot here on the podium with your name all over it, Matt.
All right, thanks, y'all.
Alan.
He bought the track 2 hours ago.
Oh, my goodness. I think that that's something... I've never heard that from anybody. Anybody. This is a guy who has some real racing prowess. I don't even know where to go with that. I don't. He's left me speechless. That's almost better than breaking me, which is usually the goal here, but nobody's managed to do that tonight. Last week it was Diego Rodriguez in the truck.
Did you see the YouTube?
I did see the YouTube. I was there live, remember?
Oh, no, look. You know, Tane Hodgson posted a video in the SNN Discord. So I kind of, you know, hey, look. It somehow found its way onto your YouTube page. Tane, I give you full credit for it. Thank you, buddy. I do things like that.
I think it's great that these guys are listening just close enough that their favorite broadcaster gets to be right there on the old car with them.
Howdy. Oh. Oh boy. as we were working the second caution, this is pretty stage break here on lap number 49. And right now, Tate Hodgson is your leader by virtue of the pit stops here. Paul Hill in that second position. Got a couple cars that would soon be the wave around cars once we go back, and that would cycle Paul Hill back to the lead with Matt Long and Mr. Miles up there in the third position. Let's see, it's Larry Miles that would be in the third position.
Well, Hodgson came down on lap number 42 in the 93, and I mean, maybe he wants to try something different. And you know, drivers are going to be doing a whole lot now to try to outthink you, because right now, pretty much we've seen that you can't outrace Paul Hill and Matt Long. You can only outthink them. And quite frankly, I don't know how you outthink somebody that just bought the track an hour and a half before green.
And then this is essentially the first laps that he's ran other than warm-up on this racetrack, and
it just blows my mind.
There's three things that'll
Oh God! Oh my God! Oh God! Oh my God! Something very, very, very bad here under caution. Watch the 93. Oh, that's the 80. Hold on. That's Mark Johnson. No, wait. Yeah. That's Mark Johnston. I'm going to run this back because that is not a good thing. Because that was right in front of our race leader. Let's watch this. Mark Johnston here in the 80. Makes to go around the iRacing.com pace car, and he gets a little bit over anxious. Oh! And as he was coming back right, the 57, the 18, and the 6 all pile up on him. That's going to severely hinder Paul Hill for sure.
Well, that's going to make Paul Hill look. Paul Hill's got some 5-letter adjectives that we're not going to say on the air.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain Paul Hill is just about madder than a Keebler elf getting demoted to fudge packer.
You know, doesn't he say that? We're watching, you know, I was hanging out down there in Kentucky Lake with my dad over the weekend. We were watching the World of Outlaws go for 50 at Deer Creek Speedway on dirt racing. And, you know, I'm watching Carson Ferguson take a nasty hit, and I say that line to my dad, and he just rolled right out of his chair.
I cannot begin to try to quantify what Paul Hill must be thinking right now. Tate Hodgson squirted on past, and his drivers lined up double file behind the iRacing.com pace car. We're going to have 25 to go when the green flag flies again. As everybody peels on out here, the man in the stand has the green flag in his hand. Tate Hodgson hits the Geico restart zone, and we're back underway.
Back underway. Here comes Paul Hill making a run on the outside.
Nope. Paul Hill just nosed into the wall.
Tanner Marty gets a little loose. Oh, no.
Oh, here we go. Let's see if we can catch this. As they came past the start-finish line, Paul Hill to the outside of Tate Hodgson. Almost in the same spot that he got wrecked moments before. And now we see Tanner Marty piling onto that. Now watch the 29 here, that TJM black and orange Chevrolet here as they come through. Oh, they went 3 wide behind him. What on God's green earth was going through their minds besides, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. Let's watch Bobby Anderson here. Bennett Allen takes him 3 wide. That's never where you want to be, the meat. And Somehow they came out of 3 wide just fine, but Tanner Marty couldn't get through, and neither could Paul Hill.
Wow.
Well, folks, it's a whole new race here with Tane Hodison leading the way. Matt Long in hot pursuit behind him, and we can see Matt Long now trying to load up and get behind Tane Hodison and see if he can make the pass. This is where he thinks he can do it. No, as he's going to try to roll out of the exit here and maybe set himself up. He dekes him out. He faked him. And that's how Matt Long is going to take the race lead and now gets the chrome horn from Tane Hodison as they are side by side coming down the stretch here. All of a sudden, we have a hot and heavy battle for the lead. Matt Long is mad as all get out. He all but shoves Tane Hodison into the wall. They're going to exchange paint coming down the long stretch. Oh, my God.
I'm not a White Sox fan by any means, but Tane Hodison out of Brunswick, Maine. Look, how cool would that be for Tane Hodison to try to pull this off here? Is Tane Hodison is driving with some urgency right there. He slides the tires.
That's almost where Paul Hill did earlier. And now Tane Hodison knows that he's got an angry pack of Hornets behind him as we ride along with Bobby Anderson in 4th position right now. Bobby Anderson trying to crawl his way up to Bennett Allen. Oh, smacking the wall is... Oh! She's a crackers. Dude, I better. Matt Long is now driving like an angry, angry man. And Tane Hodison is driving like he stole it, and he should, because right now as we look out the rear bumper cam of Tane Hodison, all he can see is Bennett Allen, and quite frankly, that's terrifying.
I mean, Bennett Allen's coming to around the circuit course doing Bennett Allen type things, but I'm going to pay attention to that 6th car. Look, he got taken, put into the wall under caution, and he's going to drive through this field, through these last 3 cars like a hacked off teenager.
Matt Long now running in 3rd position. He's got former race leader Paul Hill, who was involved in a skerfuffle, if you will, a little while ago here at the beginning of stage 3. We're here 53 laps in the books right now in my kind of town, and Chicago is incredible tonight here on Sim Racing Media as Tane Hodison now looks out the rear bumper once again, and Bennett Allen is getting ever closer. Quite frankly, if I was Tane Hodison, I would have crap all over the inside of my fire suit watching Bennett Allen. Oh my God! This race just gets better and better here in stage 3 as now Bennett Allen smokes the tires like he's all of a sudden the Snoop Dogg of Chicago.
And that's what Bennett Allen wants him to do. He's playing my games with Tane Hodison right now. As they come down to that first turn, here comes Bennett Allen going to block
Bennett Allen throws the block in front of Matt Long, who's got Paul Hill all over the rear bumper. Now Matt Long just had the rear end lock up on him and steps out of line. That puts Paul Hill back into 3rd position. These drivers all of a sudden are slip sliding all over the racetrack, and we take a look here at our weather conditions, and it's not even that hot. 80 degrees right now in the asphalt here in Chicago, Illinois. The Windy City pushing these guys around like it's a tornado, while Tane Hodison finally starting to be able to gap Bennett Allen now by about 1.12 seconds here on lap number 54. We're closing in on 20 to go. Tane Hodison, Bennett Allen, and Paul Hill leading the way, and the battle is just starting to get cranked up as Rafael Rodriguez in the 60 is trying to chase down Larry Miles.
Look, these guys are going to push it to the absolute limits right now. As Rafael Rodriguez looking to make a calculated move on Larry Miles. But Neil Pearson back there in 12th position has set the fastest lap of the race so far.
Yeah, Neil Pearson just laid down a 1 minute 27.26, and Michael Witt just laid his fastest lap of the race down at 1:31.05. So 4 seconds between Pearson and Witt. And then when we start to look up here, I mean, Tane Hodison just ran his fastest lap at 1:28.46. Neil Pearson, had he not had that unfortunate luck earlier, would be a force to be reckoned with here on the lead lap.
Well, I tell you what, these guys are sliding these cars around, and I mean, these guys are making it look so easy. They're having fun right now.
They suddenly look like a bunch of kids, like at the former NASCAR Speed Park down in Myrtle Beach. Now it's Myrtle Beach Grand Prix, but once upon a time, the NASCAR Speed Park had a road course there that was just this side of incredible. You needed a driver's license to be able to operate the Thunder Road Course, and it was fantastic.
I can only imagine. I mean, look, Bennett Allen, Paul Hill, Matt Long, and I would even go as far as to say Bobby Anderson. The top four are hustling these cars around this road course right now.
Yeah, I mean, right now, barring, of course, we know that there's no cautions coming. Wow, there's what Paul Hill was talking about earlier, those violent bumps as they make this final stretch here back to the start-finish line. 55 laps in the books. When they come to the line, it's going to be 20 to go here at Chicago as they come back past the pit road entrance. And Tane Hodison almost trying to break up. Here it comes. It's almost like he thinks he's a Pocono trying to break up the draft. Oh!
Here we go.
You might have been right. I thought Bennett Allen was going to do Bennett Allen things. I thought he was going to get the chrome horn out, as now he slides across the nose of Paul Hill. Paul Hill stepping out behind. Let's watch this as we ride along with Paul Hill, watching Bennett Allen now taking on race leader Tane Hodison. The one thing that this does is while they're battling it out in front of him, Paul Hill is able to start closing in, and now Bennett Allen and Tane Hodison locked in a mortal battle for victory here at Chicago's street course, as Paul Hill now looks to the inside of Tane Hodison, makes his way past, and now he sets himself up to take on Bennett Allen out of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Bennett Allen better run for his life and run to the hills. Paul Hill and Tane Hodison making contact. These guys are slugging it out as they come to the turn. Bennett Allen.
Bennett Allen's around.
Dropped it in the wall. That's going to give Matt Long the lead.
Matt Long is going to be running in P3. Let's see what happened to Bennett Allen here as we widen things out and look from above. Bennett Allen lays down the bad time, comes through the Xfinity 10G zone, and smacks that Toyota wall. Apparently, Toyota is not very friendly with Ford.
No. Here we go. Back down towards turn 3. Paul Hill working on Tane Hodison, that number 93 car. He's going to smack it off the wall. That's okay, though. He ain't going to lose very much time.
Paul Hill rumbling down the streets here of Chicago with 19 laps to go, trying to find where he's going to take on Tane Hodison. The question is, does he do it early or does he do it late? The brake discs on that number 6 machine are absolutely cherry red right now. If I was him, I would be full throttle.
This is when this race gets good right here in the stage 3. This is when all the races here in the SRM Stacy Storm Cup Series get really, really good in the third stage. These guys were feeling those cars out. I mean, this is like a main Saturday night short track shootout style. Come on, Paul, you got this, buddy.
Paul's getting cheered on right from here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight.
Here he goes. He's gonna make. Nope,
here
not
he comes.
Yet. Look, he's gonna force Hodison to make a mistake.
I don't know if Hodison's gonna make a mistake. It's a lot easier to run this when you're up front versus when you're in the rear. And Tane Hodison is absolutely dip diving, sliding. All of a sudden, he is the nature boy Ric Flair. He is car driving, wheel sliding, brake tapping, gas pedal hitting, the nature boy. I didn't think I was going to bring the nature boy into this one today, but here I am killing it. Bobby Anderson running in 4th position. Larry Miles back in 5th with Tanner Marty in 6th. It's just 8 cars here on the lead lap. Bennett Allen had to go down pit road after that scuffle with the wall, and it looks like Paul Hill wants to get the chrome horn out and go after the rear bumper.
Here we go. Here's the move. 10G
Here
corner.
he makes the move for the lead. They put. Oh, he's gonna get him. Oh, he's gonna get him. I can listen. All I can see right now is Dale Sr. just going. All I wanted to do was rattle his cage, and the cage is rattled.
This is gonna be good. He's setting him up. Look. Paul Hill's investing with Tate Hodgson right now. Oh, he's gonna force Tane to make a mistake. He's gonna get Tane to overdrive the car. It's a matter of time. What corner is Tane gonna overdrive it? Because it's gonna happen. There we go.
Paul Hill gets ready to go side by side down the front stretch toward the flag stand as we come out of the front stretch and into turn 3. Hill slides it out of 3, makes contact with Matt Long, as Matt Long out of Atlanta, Georgia, now runs in P2, putting Paul Hill in 3rd. Matt Long is running on Coca-Cola from Dr. Pemberton as he is running after Tane Hodgson.
Man, and this is why this race belongs at this road course right here. We don't ever get this assignment at Sonoma or Watkins Glen, but this is the only place where you can go to Chicago, basically walk up on a street race and watch this race from pretty much anywhere in the city.
How do you think they handle ticketing for this, now that you mention that? And what do you do with all the hobos? Do you just chase them away with a broom? Like, raccoons on the back porch like Mama had to do?
Sure. I mean, sure. I mean, I'm sure there's a barrier, like a barrier where you can't.
Yeah, but how big of a barrier do you set?
I mean, I don't know.
And how far back in the hobo department do you push?
Ooh.
Furthermore, what do you do with their houses?
Throw them in the garbage?
I mean, unless they're really nice.
Sure. I see these racetracks that are in and here we go. Matt Long.
Matt Long's making a look here. He's going to look at it. Here goes Matt Long for the lead. He makes the pass. As now we're going to spin the camera around. We're going to be able to see this right from the roof of Matt Long. Now he's got to hold off Tane Hodgson, your new race leader out of Atlanta, Georgia, after downloading this track an hour and a half before the green flag dropped. Matt Long leads this piece now as Chris Claude registering a crash, and Tane Hodgson is looking. Wow. Tane Hodgson suddenly thinks that he's looking for the city of El Dorado, which it may be easier to find than a way around Matt Long right now.
Oh, here we go. Paul Hill's not done yet. He's just going to relax for a little bit. He's got 16 long laps to go. I mean, this looks like back in the Gran Turismo and Forza days on Xbox and PlayStation right now, when you have these up close and personal battles with your buddies.
Buddy, you read my mind. I mean, it may be 16 laps to go, but that's like 2 minutes left in a football game. That's an eternity, or like 60 seconds left in an NBA game. With enough timeouts, you can make that suddenly last another 45 minutes. And here with 15 laps to go, Matt Long now takes a run here as we see the 3 car. That's Ron Fitting getting off of pit road, making the scurry away. As Matt Long now looks to lead this race, and behind him, the battle rages on. I want to take a quick peek back here at Tanner Marty and Larry Miles as just 0.2 of a second separate these two drivers as Marty goes bouncing through the turn and down here toward the long stretch as we make our final turn through the McDonald's poster boards, if you will.
That's where I would say that the sands of the hourglass are running out, but 15 laps to go, it's a long 15 laps to go. I would equal that to 20 laps on the normal racetrack.
Neil Pearson just registered having crashed. Let's see what it is here for Pearson as he came off of pit road. out of that final turn down the front stretch. Here comes Pearson. Oh! That's that's pretty much he gone. Well, since we are in Chicago and we do have a White Sox paint scheme here, we can say that as Hawk Harrelson would have said at Comiskey Park, he gone. Oh, you know what's coming if Tane Hodison manages to pick up the win away from Matt Long. What the heck, I'm going to do it either way. I'm just going to keep that right in my pocket for when the checkered flag flies. As Matt Long takes a nice 2.5-second lead over Tane Hodison and Paul Hill, while these two drivers are back here duking it out like a couple of kids in the backseat of the station wagon. As they're side by side. Oh, no. Hodison's going to take him out. They push each other down the stretch. Matt Long, oh my God. They're locked together. Oh, Paul Hill has got to be mad.
What was that line you said about a keyboard elf being demoted?
Oh, he is not just demoted to fudge packer. He is churning the chocolate by hand. Matt Long now 7.7 seconds over Larry Miles. And Larry Miles, we haven't gotten a whole lot of chance to talk about him out of British Columbia. But suddenly, he is our highest running Canadian. In fact, our only Canadian in the field tonight. Tomorrow, you get to see 3 more neighbors from the north as they'll be running in the Xfinity Series. But story of the moment right now is Matt Long now leads Larry Miles by 8 seconds. Tanner Marty trails Larry Miles by 4 seconds, while Paul Hill and Tane Hodison, after being locked up, wind up now running in 4th and 6th on the night.
Oh, boy.
Let's run this back one more time, and I apologize already to both of these drivers who are not going to be happy having to watch this repeatedly. But Hodison here, as we're going to look at that from his perspective, Hodison just simply hooked him. And once they, and of course, Hodison's on the throttle. He's trying to get around him. As the Brunswick, Maine native, here it comes. It almost looked like maybe Hill got a little bit loose and got into Hodison. Then Hodison didn't wait long enough and thought that he could maybe squeeze between Hill and the wall. Couldn't do it. Let's see if we can look at this from Paul Hill's perspective. I'm sure this is the one that's going to be angry. Yeah, it almost looks like Paul Hill might have gotten loose and just into Hodison from that perspective.
Man. Well, maybe next year, folks.
Yeah, that's usually the way that we say it here in Philadelphia. There's always next year.
That's why they say it in Chicago, too.
Right now from Atlanta, Georgia, Matt Long driving the 97 here in first position. 13 laps to go here at the line, going to be 12, as Larry Miles in hot pursuit, but 9 seconds back, follows Matt Long. While things have cooled off on the racetrack, we're going to step aside one final time here and pay some bills on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Riegel, he's Alan Bergen, and this is Sunday Night NASCAR.
Masker can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the
outside. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it. They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Trish on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh my
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Apromitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Preen Garden Weed Preventer and Preen Garden Weed Preventer Plus Plant Food block weeds before they start and are safe for use around over 400 flowers, vegetables, trees, and shrubs. Best of all, they give you 3 months of freedom from weeding in just 4 easy steps. You can apply Preen anytime before or during the growing season. But since it's a weed preventer, not a weed killer, early spring is best. Here's how. Start by removing existing weeds and their roots in the area where you want to apply Preen. Sprinkle granules directly onto dry soil, mulch, or stone so that they're evenly spaced. Within 24 hours of applying, integrate the granules into the top layer of soil or mulch or stone-covered bed. Finally, water with a hose or sprinkler or a well-timed soaking rain to activate the protective weed barrier. When activated, Preen creates an invisible weed-fighting barrier just below the soil surface that targets and prevents weed seeds from sprouting and forming roots. People and pets may enter the treated area once dusts have settled and the area is thoroughly dry from watering or first rain. That's it. Now you'll have a beautiful weed-free space and 3 months to do anything but weeding. Satisfaction guaranteed. Trusted for over 50 years, Preen is America's #1 weed preventer brand with weed preventers for every type of garden.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Okay. Ready? And ready now? And welcome back as we are in the closing stages of the Windy City 110. I'm Alan Bergen. Alongside with me here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Studio, just south here in South Philly, and that's Dave Regal. Dave, 8 laps to go. Matt Long is, well, you know, he's halfway to, you know, St. Louis. We'll go that. We'll go with St. Louis since we're in the Midwest.
8 laps to go here for Matt Long out of Atlanta, Georgia. And Larry Miles, I'd say he's hot on his heels, but he's 14 seconds back after a major dust-up between Paul Hill and Tane Hodison. 8 seconds between Hodison and Hill, and Larry Miles now holding off Paul Hill by a half second.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the real race right here. As, you know, Larry Miles and Paul Hill are going to this the way it stays going around there at your podium is we got 7 cars, just 7 cars on the lead lap. With Nolan Hodgson being your being the first car lap down, but that's not going to matter, as we only ran cautions tonight for the stage breaks, which was at 21 and then 45, and then it's been mean and green the rest of the way. It would essentially take forever if you ran cautions every single time there was an incident.
Right, you are, as all of a sudden Paul Hill all over the rear bumper now of Larry Miles. Paul Hill's going to be a little bit gingered trying to get around Miles after what happened between himself and Hodgson. And here comes Paul Hill for second position.
And I did see Larry Miles did blink out momentarily, and as a driver, it's so frustrating when another driver blinks out. And Paul Hill dominated the first and second stages, and then Hodgson and Long and Paul Hill just put on the slobber knocker of the show. And I think Paul Hill and Shane Hodgson probably used up their equipment, and they have nothing left.
Well, the only thing that is left is 7 laps here at Chicago with Matt Long, your race leader. 17 seconds now over Hill and Miles, as Miles now trailing Hill by a full second. Paul Hill, there's no mathematical way, right?
No. I don't see one in case, and I mean, at 20 seconds back, barring a connection issue, I don't see a path from Paul Hill to catch Matt Long.
Matt Long, Paul Hill, Larry Miles, Tane Hodgson, Rafael Rodriguez, your top 5. Tanner Marty and Eric Papineau round out the rest of the field. Just 7 cars here on the lead lap. After 31 took the green flag, Seba Cornez to the start and park, as Noah Hamilton almost did the same. Diego Rodriguez just 7 laps in before he hung it up for the night. But Paul Hill right now, the story of the race, downloads the track 1.5 hours before the green flag flies, and now commands this race with 6 laps to go, getting ready to put the 06 down. The 09, I'm sorry, that's Timothy Cook, the 09.
Well, Steve Cornez in the 59 car wins the race to the beer stand. Of course, that would be any local drinking establishment within a 10-block radius of this race course.
Well, quite frankly, I hope that he would go to Molly's, for those of us that are chai hards. Not a big fan there, pal? Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, Chicago PD.
No. I was an ER kind of person when I was growing up, watching ER.
I thought you meant that you took a lot of trips there.
No, I don't. I don't particularly like hospitals. But, there's that. But you like a lot of shows with the word Chicago in them, so.
I like a lot of things about Chicago. It's a place that's on my bucket list to visit.
Well, there you go.
I'd like to see the Million Mile Club thing up here.
Next July, buddy.
There's a big thing. There's a big thing up here for the Million Mile Club for truck drivers who drove 1 million miles with no recorded accidents, so on and so forth. And a guy that I grew up knowing is a member of the Million Mile Club. They give you a special little card and a plaque that says you drove 1 million miles.
That's a tough feat. Driving 1 million miles in a semi truck, and that's a huge feat, and that's one accomplishment that you should always be proud of.
Well, and he is, and he should be. Matt Long working his way around Alex Princeton here. Princeton down several laps, running, let's see, about 30 laps down now.
Maybe if we were to go to Chicago next summer, taking a Cubs-Phillies game, I could be a Phillies fan for a day.
No, I'd even be a Cubs fan. The Cubs are my NL Central team that I don't hate. I have a team in every division that's not the NL East that I don't hate.
Look, everybody I encounter that I tell them about you, and then I tell them that I'm the only person in I'm the only thing in St. Louis that you can actually tolerate.
Yeah, you and the organist for the Blues and Cardinals. I follow him on the TikTok.
Dude, he's good.
Do you follow him on the TikTok?
I do.
Love him. Freaking. And I follow the Cubs organist.
Now he's even better.
Just John B. Yep.
Now I did watch the Cards Cubs game with Joe Buck and Chip Carey in the booth.
See, and I thought that was so cool. I mean, here are two cities that truly embraced, once upon a time, truly embraced their baseball announcers. Of course, in Jack Buck and Mike Shannon at KMOX. Of course, Jack, the father of the great one, the Hall of Famer Joe Buck, and and then Harry Carey and Chip Carey. Of course, Harry Carey, longtime voice of the Cubbies. He even did some time in St. Louis, went back, and Chip Carey generally is he's the play-by-play man for Atlanta.
Yes.
Is he grandson or son?
I think he's the son.
I think he's grandson. Do me a favor, look that up, because now I'm curious.
You ask and you shall receive.
But these towns here, especially in Chicago, in the Midwest, I mean, they love their baseball. I mean, it's hard to love the Bears after they've depressed you now for what's about to be 40 years. I can sit here and bellyache about the Cowboys for the last 35 years of impotence. Well, the last 30 years of impotence. But, at least it's not 40 years of hoping for the Bears.
You are correct. It is the grandson. He was born to... His name is Harry Christopher Carey III. And he was born right here in St. Louis, Missouri. Went to the University of Georgia. He took over for Valley Sports Midwest after Dan McLaughlin did his had his issue.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Graduated from Parkway West High School. Graduated from Parkway West High School in Chesterfield, Missouri. In 1987, graduated from the University of Georgia. Got his first big gig with Fox. He worked with local TV stations in Panama, Greensboro, North Carolina, and he was the play-by-play for the Orlando Magic from 89 to 98.
Popsicle sticks in the air. We're 2 laps to go as Matt Long hauls it down here out of turn 3 down toward turn 4. Matt Long, the story of this race, downloaded the track 90 minutes before and now leads this piece ahead of Paul Hill, who, qualified in 4th position, battled his way up here, got into a real tussle with Tane Hodison, and now runs P2.
Yeah, here comes Paul Hill. I cannot wait for this interview here at the end of these 2 laps.
I mean, I'm fascinated. Of course, I'm fascinated by sacrifice flies, but no, I just I think what's attractive about Chicago is that it has we have character here in Philadelphia, and our character is generally rude, but in Chicago, I just feel like there's so many other things that we don't talk about, and it's another great sports city, and we bring motorsports here. As Matt Long sees the white flag, the popsicle sticks go down, and we're racing back to checkers. Matt Long out of Atlanta, Georgia. He comes to this toddling town, and all of a sudden, he's got all that razzmatazz coming down through turn 3, and Matt Long has just been incredible to watch here as he really waited things out. Paul Hill now kind of stuck behind the 19 car of Alex Brinson. Larry Miles running in third. Tane Hodison, Rafael Rodriguez, and Eric Papineau. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 they go. As there's just 6 cars left on the lead lap. And all things considered, we're just about wrapped up here as the Stacy Strong Cup Series has white flag, half a lap to go exactly, with Matt Long, the Pied Piper of Chicago. Matt rolls it here through Grant Park, coming up and over the bridge. That, of course, where the trains are able to get through underneath. A little bit of street traffic. And as he hauls it down a quarter of a lap now, Matt Long has absolutely shown us why this town is, why he says he is all about having all that jazz. As out of the final turn, or heading toward the final turn, that is Matt Long just behind the faster Pastor Stoney Benfield. The man in the stand has the checkered flag in his hand. Matt Long, you can put it on the board. Yes! Brings home the checkered flag at Chicago.
What a race Matt Long has drove. But I don't want to discredit Paul Hill and Larry Miles. Paul Hill gets second, Larry Miles gets third, and Tane Hodison's going to recover to fourth.
I mean, Hodison able to, get back into fourth after being shuffled back to seventh is still very impressive, keeping it on the lead lap. But the story of the night is Matt Long. I mean, I can't wait to get these guys up here into the interview room. Sounds like we have a major echo on you, and I'm not sure how to fix that. I'm going to have to fix it tomorrow night. That I apologize for, folks. As Matt Long, let's see if I can fix that. Yeah, I don't know where that's coming from. As let's get a hold of that. Dirty South. Somebody's going to have to get a hold of Mr. Miles, but right now, story of the night is our race winner, Matt Long out of Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, Matt, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Come on. You've had this racetrack for like 2 weeks, right? Not 90 minutes.
No, I literally bought it right before the session started, so my first laps were in warm-up.
Well, your first laps may have been in warm-up, but your last lap is the one that counted with the checkered flag ahead of you. I mean, what a finish. I mean, you kind of come out the benefactor as Paul Hill and Tane Hodison got tangled up there, shuffling you up here to the front and getting through all of that mayhem. I mean, what an incredible third stage here at Chicago.
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, yeah, I started out just wanting to keep the car clean and, hopefully get a top 10 or something, and started getting some speed. And then stage 2, props to Paul. He was super fast, and I was doing everything I could to keep up with him, and I learned a few things from him. And then that racing at the beginning of stage 3 was awesome. That was a blast. Beating and banging, we kept it clean for the most part. And then, just fortune fell our way. We got out front and kept it there, man. It's a good run.
Yeah, I mean, NASCAR did something special when they came here to Chicago. I didn't like it at first, but now as time has gone on, this place has really started to grow on me, especially as somebody who doesn't like road courses, and here we are on a street course, which is even wilder. But, you absolutely killed it tonight here getting through all of that traffic. Next week, of course, you're going to come to my home state. You're going to go to Pocono. What's going to be the trick to getting around the tricky triangle?
I love Pocono. Man, with the draft and dirty air and all that, it's just going to be, doing well in restarts and just managing dirty air and all of that. So it's a fun track. I've always ran well there, so I'm excited to go there.
All right, my man. Well, listen, as always, who do you need to tip your helmet to for this run tonight?
Yeah, it's you guys for putting on the show, Chris for running the league, and my teammates. Like I said before, man, Neil and Dyson, who's not here, but the Australians, I've learned so much on the road courses from those guys. So I want to thank them and Bobby, my other teammate. Man, we have a blast running with each other. So see y'all next week.
All right, brother. Congratulations. We will see you next week at Pocono. And I'll tell you what, man, what a great run that he had, Alan. I mean, just a great finish. And next here on the podium, Alan, should be with you down on pit road, Mr. Paul Hill.
Paul, second place finish here tonight. And, it looks like you were there in the closing laps of this race. Battling pretty hard with Matt Long and Tane Hodgson. How tough were they when you guys were battling? How tough is this track to get around when you were battling those guys pretty hard?
Honestly, it wasn't. It was a lot of fun. I had fun with Long. Me and Long were keeping it respectful. I mean, props to him first off. I mean, fortune favors the bold, and he was smart, man. The way that he handled that last restart, and that damage under caution really set me up poorly. I had some rear end damage from that, and it just wasn't handling the same way. And I was having difficulty keeping it down low when I was trying to get around Tane, and we got a little too close, and I guess he got loose. He apologized. I mean, it is what it is. Just bummer. Definitely feels ripped from me. But really, it all kind of snowballed from that caution incident with the car in the wall and getting run into. So, salvaging a second, considering everything, I can't be too upset. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, but not much you can do in those situations.
Yeah, now we shift our focus to the tricky triangle. What's going to be the game plan next weekend? And are you going to race Tane maybe a little bit differently after tonight? Once we get to these other tracks that you may be stronger at.
No, I don't think Tane was malicious in his actions. I don't feel like it warrants me being harder on him around the track. I think this is a first incident with him, and I'm not mad at him per se. It's it's just hard racing around a very narrow track, and I get we're fighting for second, right? Like he wants second as much as I do, trying to get back up to Long, and so it is what it is. But in regards to Pocono, I'm gonna have to really practice. I've never actually raced that track before, so we're gonna have to learn it this week and see what we can do, and hopefully get a top 10. I honestly don't know what to expect out of it. I know it's a beast of a track.
Well, look, before we get you out of here, is there anybody that you'd like to thank to help get you here tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank the boys, of course, at Grease Monkey, Ron Fitting, Sean Kelly, Tyler Sexton, all those guys, Andrew Deemer. He's been cheering me on here in the chat. I just want to thank all those guys and the boys over at Dent Slayer. Give me the tools to make money, do this sim racing thing on the weekends. So I want to thank them and you guys up in the booth.
All right, that was Paul Hill, your second place finisher, and back to you, Dave.
Thank you, Alan, as always. And last but certainly not least, tonight here out of British Columbia, as I get him pulled up in here. Last but certainly not least, out of British Columbia, Mr. Larry Miles, driver the number 57. Hey, Larry, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
I got you.
Man, listen, what a great run you had tonight. You stayed consistent. You tried to keep it clean, and you wind up here on the podium. How does that feel?
Feels pretty good. Especially in my second ever race. I was not expecting a podium out of this, but things got real chaotic in the final half.
Yeah, things definitely got a little crazy here in the final portion of this race, and I mean, quite frankly, we don't often see that kind of driving in this league, but tonight it seems like all things went haywire. For Paul Hill and Tane Hodgson, and, it winds up benefiting you tonight, finishing just ahead of Hodgson.
Yep. Yeah. Not much I can say on that. Just people got unlucky, and I benefited, so finished third.
Well, man, listen, next week we head to the Tricky Triangle at Pocono Raceway. What kind of strategy you're thinking about there, and what kind of experience do you have up there on that 2.5-mile triangle?
I've done like 2 league races there. I'm not the best, but I mean, I'll do my best to finish and stay over the wrecks and all that.
Well, man, trust me, I get it. And, still a great show here at Chicago. Before we cut you loose, who helps you get it done the 57 team, and who do you need to tip your cap to?
Oh, I mean, my friend group, we're called SAC, S-A-A-C. Yeah, I've raced with them for years, and I wouldn't be this good if I hadn't been around them for so long. Yeah, and that's about it. And also thanks to Chris Claude for hosting this. I'm so happy that a league like this exists. I've been looking for it for like a year at this point, and I finally found it, and I got a podium. I'm happy.
Yeah, trust me, I've been around this league for a number of years now, and it's an incredibly good league. A lot of the kinks that you see in some leagues are worked out and perfected here, and just a really great bunch of guys to run with. So we're glad to have you here in this league. So congratulations on the P3 finish. We will see you next week at Pocono.
Thank you.
All these Canadians are so polite. I wish that they could be more like us. Just rude and nasty. But that, of course, the voice of Larry Miles. And Alan, what a night we had here at Chicago.
Yeah, it was a blast. I'm glad I was able to slide into the Tony Trapasso Memorial booth with you and watch these guys go essentially full send around the Chicago street course. But Dave, before we wrap it up here, next week we're up to Pocono, buddy.
We sure are. And before we do get out of here to head on over here to Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania, one final look at our results here. Matt Long and Paul Hill and Larry Miles all come home on the podium with Matt Long holding the checkered flag. Tane Hodison and Rafael Rodriguez round out your top 5. Eric Popino finishes in 6th with Nolan Hodgson in 7th. Michael Witt finishes in 8th with Stoney Benfield and Cody McCorkle rounding out your top 10. Bobby Anderson and Tanner Marty come home in 11th and 12th with Casey Bristow in 13th, Chad Sanner in 14th. John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania comes home in 15th position with Timothy Cook and Ron Fitting in 16th and 17th. Neil Pearson comes home in 18th with Bennett Allen coming home in 19th. 20th position goes to Chris Claude, while Sean Rogers finishes 21st. 22nd is Alex Princeton, 23rd. Mark Johnston, Chris Davis is in 24th, while 25th goes to Rich Jett out of Smithfield, PA. Keith Long and Kavaja Holt finished 26th and 27th, with Richard Pruitt, Diego Rodriguez, Noah Hamilton, and Seba Cornez rounding out the rest of the field. It's been an exciting night for myself here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. I know it was a little rumble, stumble, fumble getting out of the gate here tonight, but for everybody here at Sim Racing Media and, of course, in the Sunday Night NASCAR family of racing series, we want to thank you for making us a part of your night. And remember that tomorrow and every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't plan traffic. Good night, everybody.